Hello, positive readers. It's Positive Writer today with another video, and today I'm going to be telling you why the young adult dystopian genre had to die down. I am a lover of young adult dystopians. If you didn't know, on this channel I'm going to be making videos until the, foreseeable future. I'm going to be making videos every Friday about dystopians, mostly young adult dystopians because that's my favorite genre. That's the genre of my heart. And so this discussion is very special to me because as somebody who started reading dystopians, YA dystopians in 2014, seeing the fall of the genre really kind of hurt my feelings. It felt like I wasn't really kind of grasping it at the time because you're just going to keep reading, you're just going to keep doing it, unless you're like watching publishing trends. You're not going to really notice that things are kind of dying down. But looking back now, it's so clear to see that things were flourishing and then things were not. Specifically in, again, the young adult dystopian genre, it gets so much flack and there's so much talk about why it died and what happened and why was garbage, and all of this. And so today I'm just kind of coming to clear the air and offer how I feel about this and why I know for a fact it was a necessity for this genre to die down, for it to return back to its former glory. And so, like I said, I love YA dystopians very much. The Insurgent by Veronica Roth was the first YA dystopian I read. And the entire series then rocked my entire life, changed my world forever. I think about it every single day. I live, so many of the things that were addressed in this book, that the characters learned, those characters, they live inside me, they live around me, they're as real as people to me because I've known them for so many years now, and because the books are so good, I've been reading Insurgent basically a lot, like random scenes. I just love the world, and that being the first YA dystopian that I read, I mean, starting there meant that when the genre got to the point of death, where things had become so watered down that the dystopian of the genre was kind of gone and taken over by like romance, and again the fact that publishing companies are just trying to sell books most of the time, and so once the genre gets popular, people are going to be urging people to come out with these books, and they may or may not be in the genre of somebody's heart, so now they're forcing their romance story into a dystopian world so people can read it. And as a dystopian reader who has a very strong appreciation for the genre and everything it represents, I'm going to read that and be like, this is ridiculous. I don't like this. Why is this marketed as a dystopian to me? You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, it's one of those things that sucked at the time, and it still sucks to think about now. But recently, I realized that death was absolutely needed. Those first couple books, bro, of the dystopian genre, we all know those. Amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, flat out cool. And there are so many hidden gems in the genre that people don't even know about, really, that really bust. Again, I talked about them in on my favorite dystopian videos, so please go watch that, because there are so many underrated faves in that, because God is good. At my library that I was going to when I was 12, they had so many hidden dystopian gems there that no one was talking about, but they rocked my entire existence. And so they really had the essence, they captured the essence so well of the dystopian genre, and again, weren't being talked about. And so I was able to stay in the genre, even as it was kind of dying down. I kind of was untouched by that because I continued to seek out good ones. And so, again, looking back now, it's like, yo, what happened? But anytime something gets really popular, we see it. We've seen it so many times. Again, it just becomes a moneymaker. It's just for entertainment at that point and for sales. And it's not about the heart anymore. The dystopian genre is amazing because it makes you think. It changes your entire views on everything. It can. And, it's emotional, it's intense, it's action-packed most likely. Usually, depending on what's going on, it's very heart-wrenching, it can be very dark. It can be very hopeful too, though. And I think that all those things moving together is why I love dystopian so much, because again, there are genres that capitalize on one or more of these things, but dystopian brings them all together. And I love to see that. I truly, truly do. And again, my favorite dystopians all have solid themes and solid characters and relationships and tropes that that they did so well that they stay with me, and when I noticed the genre was starting to go downhill to the point where the tropes and the things that were being, done in these books was not very true to the dystopian genre, that's when I started noticing, like, this is, sus, and I didn't want to read it anymore. And so other people clearly felt the same, which is why it kind of died down. But in that time, we've had time to grow. We've had time to experience a kind of dystopian of our own with the pandemic. And so now I see YA dystopians coming back. And I see them coming back with a bang. I see them coming back strong. You know, I see them coming back with these very strong, heavy themes that stay with you, that change your mind, these like moral dilemmas that people, all the things people love about dystopians are back now in these dystopian books because people are forced to write the books of their heart, you know? Like, because no one's selling it, because people are not in the market of dystopians anymore, people are then, if you're writing a dystopian, you are writing from your heart. Like, you're not doing this because of the money. You are doing this because you love dystopians and you want to bring to the world a beautiful dystopian story. That right there is what I want from my genre. You know, it is my genre. I write it, I read it, I love it. And I always will. And to see the authenticity come back makes me so happy. Like, in the recent years, people who used to read YA dystopians, like people my age and younger, you know, people who loved, you know what I'm saying, Divergent, Hunger Games, things like this. You know, these are people who are coming out with YA dystopians now. And so, you know, getting to see the, you know, the impact that this supposedly dead genre had on the youth who were reading it, it's just clear to see that the genre was never something that was, the genre isn't something that could have been adulterated. Once people started to alter it and act like it was something that it wasn't and sell it for something that it wasn't and market it incorrectly, you know, that was something else. But the genre itself then kind of went into hiding, you know, as if it was a person, you know, it's kind of a person whose reputation has been tarnished almost. They went into hiding. And then they came back out. And now, again, you can go on Amazon and you can see all these, like, new YA dystopian books coming out. And, you know, it's astonishing, you know what I'm saying, what people are doing nowadays with this genre, because it's returned back to its former glory of being a genre for people who want to change their hearts and minds and grow. You know, it's not something that needs to be mainstream, because the people who are reading this want something new. They want something unique, and unique oftentimes just can't be mainstream. You know, even when it is, you know, it's usually, again, a horror game, bro. What, you know what I'm saying, that's like the biggest dystopian of all time or whatever, as far as like YA goes, and it's not my favorite. I acknowledge it as being, like, the best. It's really good. It's amazing for so many different reasons. It's rocked the world for a reason, and I stand for sure. For a lot of different, I mean, it's amazing and it is unique. But again, you can't only do that once. Like, you can't, but again, people are not going to want to read a whole bunch of Hunger Games copies, you know? And so, that right there is amazing. I'm so glad that rocked the world the way it did. And I'm not saying that dystopian can never rock the world again, but I also am saying that because it hasn't, now the genre has a chance to kind of pull itself up by its bootstraps and get back in the game in a way that will bring new people to the genre, and that will, you know, bring all of us who are like veterans of the genre joy, because I missed it, and I'm so glad to be back in the fray now and to see all these like new voices coming out that are bringing the genre back to its former glory in a way that is not commercial, but that is true to the genre, because that's what anybody's going to want. If they're a faithful reader of a genre, they want things to reflect that love and that passion. You know, they want that author-reader relationship to be the same. You know, they want the author to be wanting the reader to be feeling things about this book, and the reader's going to want that from the author. And so I love to see that relationship being restored. You know, that was kind of muddled and broken after, you know, again, the genre got so big that people just started throwing books at people, you know. It's a genre that means so much to me, and it always will, and particularly because you can do so much in it that most other genres wouldn't do, couldn't do, wouldn't do right, you know, would be afraid to do. It needs to be on its own. Like, it needed to, again, that's the thing, it never died. Like, it never died. I read an amazing YA dystopian in 2019. You know, why are people talking about that? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, the people who really want the genre, bro, they know it never died because it lived on in our hearts, period. And also, again, people were still coming out the woodwork after, you know, the fall or whatever. They were coming out the woodwork with these stories from their hearts that were set in these dystopian worlds. And they were amazing, okay? Like, and, I mean, again, even, like, as, you know, time has gone on, 2019 was 3 years ago. I've read another one, another YA dystopian that came out this year. And it was amazing. And it was actually written by, you know, a young adult. And so I think that the dystopian genre had such power that even though it died down for a couple years, bro, like, it needed that because, you know, in the interim, people were writing. You know what I'm saying? People were writing, people were reading, people were discovering, again, all these hidden gems that nobody was talking about because they kind of just, you know, I feel like the genre didn't matter after it stopped, you know, being commercial. You know, it's not a bad thing when things are not commercial anymore, because again, that lets the true heart people flow. That lets the people who really, that differentiates it between the people who are trying to write this genre to sell books and the people who are trying to write this genre to, you know, change hearts. You know, because I think that the dystopian genre is such about hearts. It's about changing people's minds, you know, giving a, you know, an authentic and very much unorthodox almost view of the world to people, and then, you know, letting them ruminate and live in that, and then, you know, sending them on their way to their actual lives, to our actual lives, and seeing what that changes for the better. You know, that's what it's about for me. And I mean, I have made my peace with the whole fall and everything, because it's just like, I'm so glad to see it be returned back to its former glory. It makes me really, really happy. And, I mean, if it doesn't seem like it's been restored, trust me, think again. Like, I will be making a video about, like, you know, new, like, releases, new dystopian releases, because I think y'all should check all those out. I'm sure there are, you know, lists on Goodreads and everything, and you can just kind of do a search, probably, and then find some. But I'm just saying that, you know, dystopian lovers, don't lose hope. You know, realize that our genre is alive now more than ever, and, I mean, we only have up to go from here. Don't see it as a curse that it's not commercial anymore, and that people aren't, you know, making all the crazy movies and spending all this money, because it's not really about that, and it was never about that. You know, we got some stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? Writers, readers, you know, everyone. You know, we got some stuff to do, but we got a lot to appreciate, too. And hope is what I want to leave with y'all. You know, again, anytime something dies, it hurts. But realizing that hiding is not death. You know, a hideout, a momentary lapse in something so that it can come back better is not at all horrible, and has actually led to so many, you know, so many rebirths that needed to happen. So, I love y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a short one because, I mean, I don't think I didn't need to say that much. I think that once I realized it, it kind of just clicked. It wasn't something that was, like, needed to be thought over and over again, or had, like, a whole bunch of bullet points. I just realized that sometimes the thing that hurts the most, that takes some time, that sucks, that doesn't look like you want it to look, is exactly what you need. Sometimes that hard growth is what we need to move forward in a better way, you know? Whether it's on an individual level, or when we're talking about an entire genre, like the amazing and esteemed YA dystopian genre. So please recommend me some YA dystopians in the description. Stay tuned for my next video, which will be my 12-hour readathon. You know, get ready, because I had so much fun vlogging that. And then next Friday will be my video that tied with this one in my poll on my community tab that I do every week to find out what video to make, what video y'all want me to make. The video that tied was why Divergent is an underrated dystopian, and so I'm super excited to talk about that, because, you know, I feel like Divergent gets bad rap, and I don't understand. If it wasn't for Divergent, I wouldn't even, like, be here, okay? And so, I can't wait to talk to y'all about my favorite dystopian next week. But, until then, I'll see y'all later with another video. I love y'all. God loves y'all. Peace out. Have a beautiful weekend.